Welcome back to Fika 2.0. This is the first build that I'm doing on my newly flattened island. I've kind of put a little river here, so I guess I'm kind of cheating by having a bit of a head start, but I think it would be hard to visualize the mountain without putting a bit of a river here first, so I went ahead and did that off camera. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing is marking out with some light dirt path where I kind of want the mountain to be. I check my map a lot in this video just because it's a massive mountain, so it's quite hard to visualize what you're doing without using the map. And then here I'm just joining the dots with some terraforming. My terraforming and my design style is, I guess you could either say it's kind of freestyle-like, or you could say it's lazy, because I don't really think about what I'm doing before I do it. I just kind of have a picture in my mind, and then I just try to execute it, which is probably why things aren't the most thought out, but I'm liking how this is looking so far. And then I'm just starting to try to add a bit of body to the mountain. And then I check my map and I see that I've made very little progress, and it stresses me out a bit. And then I go over here and smooth the cliffside out, because the jaggedness was kind of bothering me, and I wanted to see what it would look like. I was worried about getting too far into the build and then not liking it, so I kind of did things a bit all over the place, but it's just because I wanted to see, what I was getting myself into and what it was going to look like. And I'm quite happy with it so far. And then I'm joining this side of the mountain with the other side over there. And I just periodically pause, check my map, make sure that I'm headed in the right direction, making sure I'm not going to overshoot it. And now this part was a bit trickier, joining this point to the other point over there. It's a bit of an odd shape. I would have liked for the mountain to be a bit rounder, so that it was a bit more realistic, but with the shape of the island and how the horizon kind of rolls off the screen, if I made the mountain too far back towards the ocean, I feel like you wouldn't have been able to put anything back there, and I want to be able to do a lot more builds, so I had to be a bit conservative with my space. Here, clearly, I went a bit too far down, so I'm correcting myself and adding a bit of a higher cliff line. And you can tell I'm being completely random with where I'm putting these cliffs. I'm just trying to make it look natural, and I feel like being random makes it look more natural, so building natural forest core looking things is my strong suit, because I don't really have to think about it that much. Alright, and now I'm just gonna fill that in. This honestly took me about an hour and a half. Alright, and now that that's all filled in, I'm just gonna go smooth out the edges again. Alright, so here is the initial shape that I've put together. And then the next thing that I'm doing is trying to place some cliffs where I feel like I can make a trail. So I want it to be, 3 different heights. I wish I could go higher because then it would be a way more impressive mountain, but unfortunately, 3 cliffs is all that I have to work with. And I can't even walk on the third one. Please, Nintendo, let us build on the third cliff. Please. My Joy-Con was running out of battery and it was giving me pretty bad Joy-Con drift at this time, so I was getting a bit frustrated, and I'd been working all day, so I really needed to take a break. But basically, what I did was before I started making this second cliff, I tried to picture where the incline was going to go and then what it would look like walking on a trail next to these cliffs. I know that's not very descriptive, but that's honestly just what I did. And then if I didn't like it, I would make minor changes and delete it. And here I'm just trying to figure out where this incline should go. So now I'm just going to fill this in. And this only took about an hour because I had a system down. Just kind of shut my brain off and filled in the cliffs. This little butterfly was stressing me out because I was afraid that I was gonna terraform him and bury him alive, so I kicked him out. And then just a bit more smoothing. I feel like these bits are quite satisfying to watch. Okay, so here's the top bit. So this is what I have to work with for putting the trail and the campsite up here. I plan on having the campsite right in this corner. Yep, right there. And then here's the map so far. So you can kind of see at the bottom right there that the first half of the trail will be there, and then it will come up here. So here I am adding a third cliffside, just trying to add as much dimension and a little bit more height. And I was very upset that I couldn't add a waterfall to the top because I feel like that would have looked so nice, but alas. All right, so here's a fun part. I am trying to cut into the mountain to make a sort of ravine. I realized that I had a lot of area to work with in the middle here, and I needed more ways of breaking it up so that the hiking trail was going to be longer. So I decided to put a massive ravine. And then that strip right there that you saw coming down, that's actually going to be a suspension bridge. I wasn't planning on doing that originally, and here you can see I'm already changing my mind and moving it a little bit over, but I thought that adding a suspension bridge would be cool. I've seen a lot of them on Pinterest and Twitter. By the way, all the creator codes will be in the description. River and water terraforming is my least favorite thing to do. I feel like it's very fiddly, and I'm just not good at it. But here's the first part of that ravine's waterfall, and then I'm just smoothing it out, trying to get it to look how I want over here, and I'm pretty happy with that. And then I have to cut into the bottom part, so I had to make myself an extra wide opening so that I could cut into it, undo all of my hard work. But I feel like this was the easiest way going about it, for me at least, because I find it hard to visualize spatial stuff like that. So if I had tried to build the mountain around a ravine, I would not have been able to manage it. So cutting into the mountain and just terraforming where I could and where the terraform could fit, that was just the easiest way for me to do it, even though I had to do a little bit of damage control at the end. All right, and then I just fill that back in. All right, here is some more river terraforming. I'm gonna cut most of this out because it is such a faff and I'm so bad at it. But you'll see the finished product here in a second. Again, this placement for waterfalls, pretty much all random. All right, and then here I added a little river running from that waterfall to go over to the other side of the trail, because I needed to, again, break up the hiking trail a bit. Because otherwise you would have just been able to go right and not have to go over the suspension bridge. I added another small cliffside up on the top right of the high cliff to add some dimension, and here I'm just adding a little pond. Okay, so here's the beginning of me building the suspension bridge. I, again, had to make some cuts and do a little damage control, but I think it turned out pretty good. So here I'm just laying the path down. All right, time for some decorations. My decorations, as well as my terraforming, very random, very little plan, and just kind of go with the flow. So I found this path. The creator code, again, will be in the description. But I found this path searching on Pinterest, and I love it. I think it looks like a very natural hiking trail in the snow. So quite happy with that. I also found these bricks when I was looking for the suspension bridge creator code. So I started placing some of those all around. And then I also found these little stone paths. Quite happy with that. I don't show most of my... here you go. I don't show most of my path laying down because I'm quite bad at it, and we'd be here for hours if I showed you that whole process. I also make a lot of changes because I move things around, and it wouldn't be worth showing you. Alright, so here is the rudimentary path placement that I chose. Again, a lot of this changes. As you can see, I was immediately frustrated by my inability to put trees down. I didn't realize that they had to be so far from cliff sides, so I actually had to change some of my plans for the design. And again, quite random placement of the trees, and many of them actually get moved in the end. And here I'm just putting some holly bushes and some saplings along the cliff sides because I feel like it makes it look more natural. If I had left those completely bare, I feel like it would have looked very man-made, even though it is man-made. And here I realize that that tree is in my way, so I need to switch around that path so that you have to go around the tree. I just moved the campsite so that I could kind of decorate around it, give me a bit of a reference point. And then at the very end, I actually decided to put Bo next to this incline. I was really mad that I couldn't put him right next to the incline, because I think that the spacing to the left there looks a bit daft, but whatever. I also had to adjust the path again. Alright, I decided over to the right of the ravine here that I would put a small camping spot with a kid's tent. So I'm just putting a bit of a dirt path, adding some patterns on the ground next to it, a little bush. And then the next thing I'm doing is placing a bunch of lily of the valleys. I ended up choosing 3 different flowers. Here I am putting some pansies. I put some mums down and then immediately regretted it and switched to red cosmos instead. Alright, so now I'm starting to put a bit of furniture down. Quite ironic. I actually pick up this piece of furniture later and change it, so the first thing I put down I end up changing, but I ended up putting a little campfire next to Bo's house. This clip really shows you how indecisive I can be. I swear I changed this fence pattern 10 times before I'm happy with it. Alright, almost. Oh, no, yep, okay. And then I put a little bird bath, a small lantern, a little water pump so that people who are camping can get some water with a little pitcher, a nice sitting bench that I immediately move, campfire, a wild log, kind of looks like a fallen tree. I really like that. I'd like to add some stumps around as well. You can see I changed the sign back there. And then I made a little coffee drinking area. And honestly, that's all that I have so far. Please let me know if you have any suggestions. I'm always open to suggestions, as you know. I feel like my builds are empty compared to the other ones that I've seen online. I like having a lot of space to walk around, and I like that my villagers have a lot of space to walk around. But if you have any ideas for how I can better flesh this out, please let me know. Here I'm just doing a small picnic area at the bottom of the ravine. And a small birdhouse. I also ended up finding some logs for a custom path and changed that up. And here we go. This is what I came up with, and these are some shots of me walking through it. I'm quite happy with how it turned out. I think there could be some improvements, but for now, I like it. I ended up adding some camellia bushes as well. And yeah, that's actually all that I have for you today. Sorry I've been quite absent. It's been a very, very, very busy start to the month for me. And I've not even done Toy Day yet, so that will be the next video up. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye!